Good evening, everyone. Cedric Phillips here, coming at a very late time here in Seattle, Washington. Checking the clock, it's close to midnight. But look, I got an itch. I want to draft some more Amonkhet because this format is actually pretty awesome. And ignoring the last draft that you guys got to watch me do, where I was white-red / red-green / probably should have been Naya. I've actually been having success in this format. I've actually really been enjoying it. Some of the games are really aggressive. Some of the games are kind of slow and drawn out and kind of grindy. It's been a lot of fun thus far. So as I take a look at the first pack here, I already know that I'm going to take Angler Drake, and I don't want to time out on my selection here. But the other options in this particular pack, as I kind of narrate this thing, I'm a big fan of Emberhorn Minotaur. I love Fling in this format. And with any luck, that Wings of Rebuke will wheel. I also like to talk Crop Elite as well, but Angler Drake is a fantastic card in this format, no question, and a pretty easy pick in my opinion. Now, one thing that I have not got to do very much of in this format is actually draft blue. I've drafted green-red a lot. I have drafted white-red a lot. I have had some black-based strategies, black-white zombies as an example, but I've not actually drafted blue outside of the first draft I actually did here, where I probably should have 3-0'd. Tough to say. But I know that red-blue is a color combination that people do like. So Cryptic Serpent is a card I've played against quite a few times and has been pretty good. Opening to Wander, blue-blue X-target creatures can't be blocked this turn. Until end of turn, those creatures gain whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. I imagine is a pretty good card. Never actually played with it before. Other cards I'm looking at here, Dusk Dawn, as we saw in my first draft if you watched it, varied from being very good to very mediocre. So I'm not entirely sure if that's an effect I'm going to want right now. Opening to Wander is of interest to me, especially because blue-green can really take advantage of that card and could wheel Initiate's Companion. So I'm going to try this, actually. This is kind of interesting to me. I've never played with that card before. Seraph of the Suns, thanks for fixing your artwork. Trial of Solidarity, you are also pretty good. This could also be good in a white-blue deck as well, so we don't have to immediately go blue-green. Seraph of the Sun's a little too expensive for me. The draft format is, I think, a little more aggressive than people initially gave it credit for, so I'm not really going to lean that way. If I want a white card, I'm going to take Trial of Solidarity. I can look at Initiate's Companion, but that's better, of course, in Exert strategies. And then there's Naga Vitalist. Add to your mana pool 1 mana of any type of land that you could produce. So we could work some splashes into this. We do kind of have an incentive to want cards that make us mana because Angler Drake is expensive, because Open into Wander is a good mana sink. This is my first time drafting green-blue. This would be an interesting thing to do. Initiate's Companion could wheel. Greater Sandworm is expensive, but that could wheel as well. So I'm going to take the Naga Vitalist and see how we do. I wonder if I'm supposed to take Trial Solidarity, but we're going to try taking the green card. Are you Mouth to Feed? You are Mouth to Feed. A ding. I had this card in my last draft, actually. I was a green-red deck. I did a draft before I actually did this one while I was getting some work done. Multitasking. And Mouth to Feed was excellent for me, so I'm pretty sure I'm going to select this again. On Crop Crasher is a great card in this format, not one that I pass very often. Colossal Pede was actually pretty good for me in the draft I did when I was green-red as well. Not the biggest fan of Giant Spider in this format. Not a big fan of Scribe the Mindful or Slitherblade, but Mouth to Feed just seems like a home run card to me, especially with what our deck is trying to do. Which is we can accelerate a little bit into some stuff. We can make some unblockable things. It does kind of stink passing on Crop Crasher. That's a premier uncommon in the format, but I'm going to select Mouth to Feed. Ooh, Gift of Paradise and Magma Spray. So now, I get to do a little experimenting, I think, because Magma Spray is a great card. I think a pretty splashable card in this format, too. Same thing can be said for Wander and Death as well, especially because that one does cycle. So we could work ourselves into some sort of Sultai strategy here. Naga Vitalist is a card that can produce off-color mana, depending on what lands we do get. Gift of Paradise is a way to, of course, tap for off-color mana. So now all of a sudden I'm looking more so into splashing something than taking something on color. A card like River Serpent I'm not all that excited about, even though it's fine. Winged Shepherd is fine, but I know for sure that Wander in Death is good, and I know that Magma Spray is good, so Of those two, Magnum Spray is the better card. I'm going to take the Magnum Spray. Also, on the off chance that maybe we don't even end up in green, maybe we end up in a different place. Couple of red cards here. Now, these red cards, not the most exciting. Red card 2, Thresher Lizard, Pursue Glory. I'm not terribly excited about those cards. The thing that I'm most excited about here is the on-color gold card. Not that I mean, this card's fine. It's definitely leading me down a direction of I am going to be ramping into things this draft. So I'm thinking of the 8-mana Sandworm Enchantment. That would be something great to open or have passed to me with the direction my deck is going. I can dump a bunch of mana into this. This will be cast out of schedule. I might be able to play both mouth and feet in the same turn. So, yeah, I'm going to lean towards the Weaver of Currents here. Select that card. I always hate seeing them Blind Mummy Lakes. I really do like white-black zombies, but a lot of people like white-black zombies. I'm not really alone in that. If you get that deck, your deck's really good. So, this isn't a bad start. I don't think this is the best start in the world, but I actually don't think this is a bad start either. So, oh, it's my boy Sparring Mummy. Sparring Mummy, I love you, Sparring Mummy. You're so good. We've done so much damage together. Untap so many Exert creatures together. Manglehorn is so unexciting. Cancel is nice. I mean, I do want creatures. I do like Cancel. Don't really care for Unburden. And then Azeroth's Favor, rare. Not so much for my deck. Much better in a red-white or red-black deck. I think I'm going to select Manglehorn over Cancel right now. Put that in the old deck. Keep this show moving along. Quarry Hauler, I like more than Naga Oracle at this stage. I'm a huge fan of Fling, and I'm kind of keeping my eyes out a little bit here. The thing that I'm kind of doing as I'm making my way through this draft, there's also the Manticore, is, blue-green, it's not a thing that I have to be. I have enough cards here where I could say Angler Drake, Weaver, open into Wonder, you're out of here. These other cards are in here, so I'm kind of hedging my bets a little bit here, being red-green as well. I'm going to take the Manticore over Fling, so you can generally get Fling a little bit later, and I'm just not excited about that Naga. Speaking of Fling, there one is. But there's also some other cards I like in this pack. Colossopede, card that we're going to kind of ramp into and be happy to ramp into. Ornery Kudu, if I needed a 3-drop, I would take that, but I'm okay on 3-drops to start. And Wings of Rebuke has been awesome for me so far. Really good, obviously, in response to Cartouches. You might want to mill yourself over into some Entomb cards when you're blue-white. There's some no red Entomb cards, but there are some blue Entomb cards as well. That said, I'm going to take Colossal Peaks. I think that's going to make whatever deck I'm playing anyway. 5-mana 5/5 is actually not that bad either. Cryptic Serpent's okay. Benefaction of Veronis. Top 5 cards of your library. You may put a creature card and or an enchantment card from in your hand. Rest into the bin. I'm not all that excited about. I'm really just not a big fan of Naga Oracle. In blue-red, sure. In blue-green, I'm not all that excited about it. Cryptic Serpent is more of a blue-green card as well. Blue-red card. But the thing about this is, this might be a card that I can ramp into with quite a bit of ease. We've got Initiate's Companion, which is going to fill a nice spot on the curve. It's another 2-drop for us, so I'm going to drop that into the deck. It's also on color. Grasping Dunes is medium. The Scribe of the Mindful, return target instant or sorcery card from your graveyard to your hand is pretty medium, but I think it's better than Grasping Dunes. Not really a big fan of the Desert. The Sentinels is fine. It's on color. It's a curve filler. Benefaction of Veronis is going to move into the sideboard along with this Plane. So not a bad first pack, in my opinion. Not in heaven, but I'm certainly not in hell either. This is totally fine. I believe that's Insult to Injury. Is that correct? Yes, it is. Okay. 2 damage to target creature and 2 damage to target player. That's a really good Magic card. However, as of course Magic Online doesn't want to show all its artwork and be nice, we have some decisions to make here. For example, we have a Defiant Great Maul, which is much better in green-black than it is green-blue. Not the biggest fan of that card in this particular deck. If we're going to go down this kind of red-green pathway, then I would much rather have Insult to Injury, but I'm kind of keeping my eyes open. Okay, what good blue cards do I have at this point? Really, if I'm being honest, the answer is exactly Angler Drake. That's really about it. Now, I think that the best card in this pack is probably Electrify. I'm not sure how much better it is than Insult to Injury, but I'm going to assume that it's better, and it's leading me to want to take that card and keep myself a little bit open here. Also, it's really splashable, so taking that card is not the end of the world, and it's a very good card to take, and I think it's going to make whatever my deck is going to be a really high percentage of the time. So I'm selecting Electrify right now. Maybe Defiant Great Wall I'm underrating a little bit at this stage. It's obviously great in green-black. I don't really love it a lot of other places. It's certainly not a bad card, but we know how good Electrify is going to be 100% of the time. A Catcher's Attendant's a really good card. It stinks to have to pass that, but we're just not in those colors. A color that we are in, though, that we really like is the green cartouche. That card is awesome. Maybe green's best common. So that's a pretty easy selection. We're just not in white. If we were, we'd take a Catcher's Attendant pretty happily and be a little bit frustrated that we have to pass True Heart Duelist, another really good white uncommon. But we're getting arguably the best green common in the set, depending on where your rankings are at. It's a card I've never been unhappy to have. So I'm going to highlight Cartesia Strength. Take a look at the rest of this pack here with Giant Spider, which may wheel, Greater Sandworm, which may wheel, the Manticore, which we already have one of, which I'm actually pretty happy about, and then Thresher Lizard, which may wheel. Again, if we take a look at the blue cards here, Angler Drake is very good. Cryptic Serpent's okay. Open Into Wonder I've never played with before, so I can read the card, I can get an idea of why it would be good. Certain game states it's just going to win you the game where no other card would, or at least provide you with an advantage. But there's no blue card here outside of Angler Drake that is really forcing me into those colors. So I am going down kind of a red-green avenue here. Watchful Naga and Electrify and Magma Spray? Well, it's getting interesting now, folks. I'm getting more and more away from blue as we go here. Now, Watchful Naga is a pretty good card, but at the end of the day, that's a 2-2. That's really it. You exert it, you get to draw a card. That's awesome. That's not as good as a removal spell in this format, especially because removal is not plentiful in my experiences. Now, I'm not saying Watchful Naga is going to wheel. That's pretty unlikely. Magma Spray, same thing, pretty unlikely. Pouncing Cheetah, maybe, and if it does, I'd be happy to have it. But I'm taking Electrify number 2 here, and I think we are going to be green-red unless something else happens. Hooded Brawler, I am a fan of. Passing these white cards kind of stinks. I've passed 2 Fan Bears now and some other good white cards. A couple of the Birdie, the 4-mana 2-2 that exerts and gives your team +1/+1, so passing those sucks. Now, I know what you're thinking. There's an Evolving Wilds there, so we could be 3-color potentially. But I'm going to hide some of these blue cards that I'm not really a fan of. You're gone. You're gone. Beneficiary, you're just gone because you stink. Let's see. Angler Drake, sure, you're really good. Happy with that. But I'm actually pretty happy with just Hooded Brawler being a curve filler. Now, this is a format that does have a lot of 3-mana spells. So getting 3-mana creatures and filling that part of the curve is actually not particularly difficult. And, there's a blue cartouche, even though I have no trials yet. But I really, Evolving Wilds is a card I could take here, but I really think I'm going to wind up in green-red right now as opposed to green-blue. So I'm going to take Hooded Brawler, and maybe there's some regret here. I don't know. We'll see what the next pick is. I don't think there's much regret here. More green cards are coming through. Now, I've already got a Colossal Pete, and I've got 2 5s, so I don't really have to move that direction just yet. Emberhorn Minotaur is a very good card in green-red and white-red, a couple different places. And then, of course, there is the Monitor, which is really good in the blue-green deck that I could theoretically have. It's just a big creature. It cycles. What it does for cycling is relevant. And now there's also another copy of Evolving Wilds, too, that I do think is unlikely to wheel. So the question now is, would I rather have the Minotaur, or would I rather have Shefit Monitor? Never played with the Monitor before. I mean, 6-mana 6/5 is not bad, but am I going to cycle it more often than not? I'm not entirely sure, but you know what? I think I'm going to go this way. And I might still be able to get myself into blue. Maybe I'm leaving myself a little bit too open here. Maybe I should have just ditched this blue plan altogether at this point. Not to say that I can't, and if I am green-red, Monitor would still make my deck. And I think it's actually a pretty good card. Compulsory Rest. Obviously not in white. Hieroglyphic Illumination, we could be in blue. I'm not a big fan of Naga Oracle. These black cards don't really apply to us. Stinging Shot, one of my favorite cards in this set, actually, because it's super main deckable. When it's good, it's great. When it's bad, you cycle it. It's a hallmark of a good cycling card. I'm thinking Stinging Shot here, actually, over the Illumination. So let me select this. Just these blue cards just don't really do anything to excite me, is the thing. Spidery Grasp is certainly not exciting. It's a trick. We've got 10 creatures, but I suppose in reality, if I hide Old Angles here, I hold Cryptic Serpent, and I hide you, the reality is we have 8. Let's make it 7. Oh boy, here we go. Maybe I'm a little too indecisive with what colors I should be. Maybe I should just be splashing red for the two electrifies and a magma spray. Perhaps this was an error, especially because this is more mana fix. I mean, we could undo this error pretty easily, and I think we might just try to go about doing that now. Not a hard error to fix, which is actually kind of nice. Winds of Rebuke is a card I really do like, so let's try doing this. Let's get you guys back in here. Let's get you back in here. Cryptic Certain, Angler Drank. Let's get you back in there, even though I don't have a ton of cycling. Take a Floodwaters with this pick, I think, over Wings of Rebuke, because I can kind of ramp into that. Floodwaters not a bad card. Not great. It's not a bad card, though. The story just kind of turns out, though, mana fixing is actually going to end up a little bit better than I thought. I'm gonna take a Winds of Rebuke for right now, though. Shed Weakness, not the biggest fan of. Sacred Excavation, not the biggest fan of. Gonna do a little cycling check here. We got this thing. This is in 2 target cards with cycling from the bin. So we got this fella here. Any other cycler? 17 seconds. You don't cycle. You don't cycle. Not a lot of cyclers here. And shot. I'll take the 2-drop, just an on-curve card from my deck. Green, blue. Cascading Cataracts. Let's check you out really quick. You're indestructible for reasons we don't know. Add 5 mana in any combination. Okay. So it is a roundabout way for some fixing in an indestructible land. But I'm kind of looking Giant Spider because I just think I need some more ways to get some cards in my deck here. So not the biggest Giant Spider fan, but I will take something on curve. Now that's great. Look at that. Watch what I actually will. That's pretty cool. That can replace Heckma Sentinels, which is nice. I'm not the biggest Watchful Naga fan, as I think I stated a little bit earlier, but it's not a bad card. So I'm going to take this. I mean, these are 3 cards that I would play in my deck. I'm going to take the Naga, though. What do we got here? Another Opening to Wander. A lot of these. I mean, this is an uncommon. A lot of these in the draft. X-target creatures can't be blocked this turn. Until an turn when those creatures gain, whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. I don't think you want 2 of those. I think you want 1. I think in some circumstances you would want 2. But for now, I'm going to take another 3-drop. Another 3-drop. Okay, no shortage. Naga Oracle, which there's potential for it to make my deck, I suppose. Let's hide this. And this is 26 cards right now. So in theory, I'm already done and I got another pack. The reality is, we got some work to do to kind of tie this room together. You know, I can get my Manglehorn out of here. I'm not a big fan of that card at all. I'm happy with Watchful Naga, the ramp card, Approach to the Second Suns. I know some people have won some games with this card limited. I'll tell you what, though, Scaled Behemoth is no joke. That thing is huge and a pain in the butt to try to beat. There's a 3rd Electrify. I'm a big fan of Scaled Behemoth, though. I really am. I think I'm gonna. The games aren't so fast that I can't just ramp into this or just cast it on time and have it be awesome. Now, this is a little bit of an interesting situation because Approach to the Second Suns I've heard is very, very good. 7 life's a lot. Games kind of drag out, and it is very realistic for you to win the game with that. And I could splash this, and it wouldn't be that hard, but I'm not going to. I think that's a bit of a stretch. To see a second Trial Solidarity and another Fanbur, at least whoever's got the white deck in this league from this draft is going to have a pretty good deck. But I'm going to take the old Behemoth here. It's a crocodile. Jeez, that is yikes. That is a big crocodile. I'll tell you what. Hopefully Bitterblade Warrior wheels. There's no chance Electrify comes back. That's some serious wishful thinking. But I'll take the old Behemoth. A ding. A ring-a-ding-ding. A ding-a-ding-dong. Samu. Voice of Dissent. Well, that's game, boys. That's game. On the Splish Splash. This card's insane. I've never played it before. There's no way it's not insane. Bring it home. Electrify and Fling in this pack, too. Hello, Samu. What do we have here? Spring to Mind. Fixing. Evolving Wilds. Fixing. Cheetah. Arr, Hooded Brawler. Plenty of 3s. I believe I'm going to take Spring to Mind. Search your library for base and land cards. Search my mountain. I love that. I do want Evolving Wilds. This will also let me search for a mountain. I wish I'd taken Evolving Wilds a little bit earlier. A little bit of a coward in the early stages of this draft. I think my deck could have been excellent if I had an Evolving Wilds or two. I got a little kind of gun shy working into 3 colors. Maybe I think I should have been green-red because I didn't see great blue. And I still don't think I have great blue, but I am going to take this with me because come on. This is fixing, even though it does cost 3. I don't love that, but still really good. Good card to ramp into. Good cartouche. Draws a card, +1/+1, and flying. Cartouche could wheel. I have 4 2-drops at this stage. Floodwaters, even though I don't have a ton of ramping. A bunch of white cards that don't matter. Got a lot of creatures. I think I'm just going to take a Floodwaters here. Cycles when I don't need it. Don't think this is. I just really don't think this is a. I don't think this is a deck that's really going to do much with the blue cartouche. Green cartouche is going to make your deck every time. Blue cartouche, I think it's bad. I just don't think it's too much for my deck. So I'm going to take Floodwaters. What do we got now? I think I want another 2-drop perhaps. I do see the Painted Bluffs. That could be something I'm interested in. Colossal Pede. I've got enough 5-drops. I don't have enough ramping to be comfortable taking that card. Initiate's Companion is another 2. And I think I would rather have another 2 just to kind of stymie any beatdowns that are headed my way. And then I feel like a Quarry Hauler or something else within color could make my deck. And I don't think I need to take Painted Bluffs. Maybe I'm being a little greedy in that regard. I think I'm into my deck, though. Kind of on board with what's going on here. I've got a decent amount of fixing. And what's going to be fun is as people kind of explore this format, myself included, going to get a lot more comfortable with just splashing or being a 3-color deck. It takes me a little while personally to get into the mode that, like, yes, I can do this 3-color thing. My brain just doesn't really work that way where it makes a lot of sense for me to do that. But we'll get to the point, if I do this enough, where it's like, okay, this is how you're going to splash, this is why you're going to splash, so on and so forth. And we could work ourselves into some pretty good decks with some easy splashes. And I think this deck has sort of winded up that way. Not perfect, of course. You know, I definitely think now that I look back on it a little bit, probably should have moved into a splash a little bit earlier. Like basically coming to terms with the fact that I was splashing earlier. I don't know what the heck these 2 cards are doing here. Both these cards are absurd. Decimator Beetle enters the battlefield from -1/-1 counter target creature you control. Whenever Decimator attacks, remove a -1/-1 counter from target creature you control. Put a -1/-1 counter up to 1 target creature defending player controls. Yeah, that card's awesome. And then Prepare to Fight is similarly awesome. And now I'm kind of looking to see if there's some way I can get that in my deck. It's unlikely. How would I get white in my deck? I could play like a Plains. That's really reaching, though. I could play and be able to search for a Plains. I think I'm more of a teamer deck. It kind of sucks that I can't play this or the Beetle. You know, of these 2, I would take the Beetle and try to get it in my deck. And I might actually try to. Greedy! Warning, warning, get angry. Oh boy. Another Cultivator? I can search for a land? Hey, what is Nest of Scarabs doing here? What's happening in this draft? Not even 1 or more -1/-1 counters on a creature. Create that many 1/1 black insect creature tokens. I know that card's good. Enigma Drake's not bad. I have a lot of creatures, though. I mean, this is going to be... I don't know how big Enigma Drake is going to be on average in this deck. Probably not very big, and this thing is acceleration and fixing. Just gonna take that. Giant Spider sucks. Ooh. Oh no, I actually think no. So that's kind of interesting. Should I have taken Prepare to Fight when I have Samu and I want a Plains for the ability? That's kind of interesting. Big Spider. I want something in that spot. Got plenty of 3s. Could use another 4. I got a lot of cards for this deck, tell you what. Alright, Big Spider. And I wheel this. Jeez. Was cast from your hand, and you cast another spell with this, you win the game. Otherwise, put Approach the second song into its owner's library, 7 from the top, and you gain 7 life. You can just build a game state that works around this. Illusionary Wrappings is just a good removal spell, though. Man, how greedy do we want to get here? We could play a basic Plains, be able to search for you. Man, I wish I had an Evolving Wilds now, but I've got so many ways to get the Plains. We've got 2 Cultivators. We're going to have some fun. Fling, flang, flung. Taking a fog, by the way, just in case things get a little hairy. Cheetah! What are you doing here? Yeah, this card's just not that good, I don't think. I'm going to take it, though, just to get it out of the way. I don't think I would play Spider Grasp anyway. Get out of here. Quarry Hauler. Had a feeling it would wield. Don't think. Okay, so Quarry Hauler's not a card I'm going to play, so I'm just going to take the other Stinging Shot. Stinging Shot, excuse me, from my sideboard. Decision P to the board. Forest to the board. This is going to be a fun deck to build. This is going to be a fun deck to play. This is going to be a lot of fun. My deck could have been absurd. Absurd! I feel like I made some boo-boos. Didn't value Evolving Wilds high enough. That's okay. Definitely a mistake. Not going to defend it. All right, let's grow. Grow! Like Rita from the Power Rangers would say. Okay. Stinging Shot, I think, is going to miss the cut now because my cards are too good. Wings, you're going to hide down there. Haze of Pollen, see ya! Some number of these are going to make... I have 35 cards. I have a lot of work to do. You leave. You leave. Cartouche, you're going to stay. Watchful Naga's going to stay. Hooded Brawler's probably going to stay. Kudu, I think, is going to leave. Okay. Watchful. Cheetah might leave. We'll leave it there for now. That thing's out of here. Initiates Companion. How do you get over there? Get back into 2 spot. Electrifies. Totes. Naga Oracle. It's kind of fixing, so I think I want those. Decimated Beetle. Don't think we're going to live that dream. Colossal. I don't think we're a Manticore deck at all. I'm happy with Colossal Beetle. I don't think we're a Manticore deck. This thing's gone. Behemoth is definitely staying. Floodwaters is going to stay. Let me move let me move this thing here so I can move Floodwaters there. Okay, so you're back. Great. Didn't work. Lame. All right, this is going to go over here. 29? We're not opening into Wander, I don't think. I think that's a little bit greedy. You're a 3 and a spell. You're a 3 and a people. 28? Not really a Cryptic Serpent. That down to 18 creatures, literally 19 though. Wish I had a few more spells. So we got 27, we got a chip 3. Skirmisher, not really great. It's not terrible, but it's not great. Am I really going to play a Plains in this deck? I think it's actually just kind of a free roll, and Approach of the Second Sun is not a bad card in Limited. Plus, I just kind of want to play it because it's just, a draft, and I just want to get someone with it. I'm a child. What do you want from me? Hooded Brawler is not really good in this deck. I don't know, it's a 3-2 though. It can trade up. Cheetah, 3-2 trades up. Watchful Naga, more like wishful thinking. Weaver of Currents can accelerate me. Mouth of Feed's not going anywhere. Alright, so I think I might let that go. It's 26. Not excited about Naga Oracle. Look at the top 3 cards of your library. Put any number of them in your graveyard. Rest on the top of your deck in any order. I think maybe I'd rather have a Spider. 25. Monitor is fixing. It's like kind of going to slide over there. Got 16 creatures. Actual 17. I'm playing Approach for funsies. Is Watchful Naga ever... I mean, I guess you just always get to draw. There's something to be said for that, I guess. Plus, okay, I definitely want the 3-power creatures because I have Feed in my deck. So I don't want to get as many 3-power creatures in my deck as I can. So those are going to stay. Winds of Rebuke might leave. These splash cards aren't going to leave. Approach of the Second Suns. Don't make me do it. I think I'm going to have to do it. I think I should just be Teamer. I want to do it so bad, though. I want to know. Look at me. I'm not even playing like very many blue cards. It's kind of weird, actually. I thought I'd be playing more blue cards. Maybe I should be playing more blue cards. Not sure. I got these green cards that are going to trade up, though. And the red splash is basically free. Green Cartouche is good. Floodwaters is medium. Gotta find 2 more, huh? I'm looking at you, Watchful Naga, and I'm not feeling it. I'm just not feeling it. Sorry, homie. You gotta go. I'm just not feeling Watchful Naga. Maybe 16 lands seems a little wild. Seems a little fast. I don't know. 16 lands is probably fast and loose. What kind of fixing do I have? I got 1, 2. This is fixing plus ramp. Fixing plus ramp. Spring. This thing. If I start to flood, how do I have ways to spend my manas? Do I have ways to spend my manas? Can cast the mind part of Spring to Mind. I can play Feed and draw some cards. I can do a little bit of cycling. This could just be a 16-land deck. A little wild, but I could see being 16 lands here. Just because I don't have a ton to do if I start to flood, even though I do have, you know, 2 5s, 2 6s, a 7. Am I really going to play 16 lands? Am I crazy? Might be a little crazy. Should probably just cut a card instead. What do I want to cut, though? Shuffling magic cards. You guys know how it is. Floodwaters, I think, is too good to cut. I mean, it's not great, but I do think it's too good to cut. I keep looking at approach and just thinking I'm just going to sideboard it in. It's probably just better to sideboard in. I think it's a good sideboard card. It's probably a better main deck card than I think. Any slow matchup approach is going to be busted. But at the same time, I kind of just want to play it and play 16 lands. I have a dilemma. I have a dilemma. All right, I'm going to try a little something here. I mean, we know how good Giant Spider is. I haven't played with Naga Oracle. I want to find out how good that card is. So that's back in the deck now. Okay. That part's solved. And I don't know. Do you just want to play 16? Kind of want to play 41. That's pretty loose. That's pretty loose. Basically, I need to get 3 lands to get this party started. I got 16 creatures if you count Mouth to Feed. So I don't have a shortage of creatures. I think... You know what? I've made my decision. I'm going to play Approach of the Second Sons. That's done. That's in my deck. We're done discussing it. Floodwaters, you're piecing out. Okay? I've made my decision. My ruling is final. That's that. Add basic lands. Plains, 1. That's a lot of forests. I don't need that many Magic Online. Okay, that's too many. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 green symbols. Red symbols, I have Samu. All my red symbols are 1. Okay, and I have a bunch of ways to find it. And then blue symbols, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I'm going to want a little bit more blue than red skis. So 7 and 5, definitely only 1 plane. 7 and 5 is 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 7, 5, 4. Boy, look at this mana base. I need 1 more 4, so that's a little loose. I think I'm going to go 8, 4, 4. 8, 4, 4, 1. 8, 8, 9. Yeah, 8, 9, 17. How about this deck? You about this thing, though? Add to Decky Wecky. All right, it's done. The masterpiece is complete. We are going to find out how this shakes out in just a moment. See you back here for round 1 in just a sec.